it's a place of curious inquiry for people who are getting nudges or tuning into awarenesses that are coming in, but not really sure what to do with them or what they are, what they mean. The beginning part of the program was about learning some of the more practical tools that you can use to tap into the more intuitive side of you. So for someone who's new, even for someone who's not new, I found it quite interesting in the beginning parts, because you're given tools to actively work with. So we talked about the chakras, and then we learned tools that we would do throughout the week and chime in the group throughout the week. Yeah. So I think it's a great starting course for people who are starting to see those insights and going to want to know a little bit more. So for me, it was about curiosity. Because in the grand scheme of things, I'm fairly new to tapping into my intuition. It's been a couple of years now, but that's still pretty new. I haven't been one of these lifelong people that has always listened to intuition. So we all have it, but it's learning to use that skill and that muscle. So the Empath Energetics course helps just shed some light on how I could best tap into my intuition in a really quick and simple way. We did a big section on light and shadow work. We spent a big amount of time on shadow work, where we pulled out archetypes that were coming into play for us, and then we could look at different practices. Kate would offer suggestions. We would also workshop as a group things to keep in mind, or practices that we could do to help bring more light into that shadow. So for me, for example, I really struggled with play and just lightening up. So, big piece of my work through the program was around inviting more of that in, and my archetypes were Don Juan and Femme Fatale. So very powerful archetypes that I could work with to help step into a new place of more play, more empowerment, more power as a whole. So that was a big piece I took from that section. And then we worked with working with the light aspect of things too. So where are we going beyond this? What's kind of next to come? And we did a big assignment on our hero legacy. So lots of self-inquiry, lots of journaling, lots of bouncing things back and forth between the group, not just in the weekly calls, but also we had a group chat. So we would support each other there all throughout the week. And the people that are attracted to Empath Energetics are the coolest people. There's just so many different personalities and people at different stages of life. But the main themes that kept the group going and that really created the community was all around, we had this same interest in wanting to deepen our awarenesses, deepen our skills of tapping into intuition, connecting with energy, feeling balanced and actually being balanced within our energetic system, and pulling those tools in that we learned, tons of tools and practices, which I always love. I love the practical side of things and things that then I can go back to. Kind of tied it all together. We're all at different stages and going through things, but there are main themes that create the community. So I totally see that in Empath Energetics. We were all totally different people, But still, like, the connection we made with each other was quite bondful and strong, because we're all very vulnerable in the same way, because we were, trying to live a more intentional, energetic way, which it takes practice. It takes practice, it takes consistency, it takes commitment as well to yourself. Like, that you can't just shove your needs to the side anymore. Like, things are just going to get louder and louder and louder until you listen, right? And that's that universal tone that we all wanted to bring into our lives. Kate is very lighthearted, but she will call you out. So, and because she can channel, you can't fake it with her. She'll read through the lines and she'll call you out on it. So that's something I always appreciate in any mentor that I'm working with is they don't beat around the bush, and Kate is no exception. So if she can see a pattern playing out or a theme coming through, whether positive or, more of a shadow pattern, she's going to be the first to halt the conversation and really focus on that. And then her way of shifting the perspective, shifting the pattern, happens to come quite naturally for her, but also as she guides people to bring out their own suggestions, solutions, different perspectives on how they're looking at whatever it is that the issue is or the topic is. And if you're hiding back things, she's pretty good at probing and poking, but not in a demeaning way, not in an uncomfortable way. It's a very supported way. Before I took the program, I was fairly new to listening to my intuition and connecting to universe, to the unseen. So I felt a little floundery on my own, because I would Google things, or I would journal, or I'd listen to webinars, or doing my own research on how to really connect, tap in, which is interesting because you actually don't need any of that to tap into intuition and connect to the universe. But I found through the program it gave me more confidence and helped empower me with the strategies and the tools that we got or that we learned about, as well as understanding some key themes that Kate would go through. So I learned a lot about myself in the program. And then after the program, I still had a lot of tools then that I could fall back on and implement daily. And I still do these things that I've learned. So I found before, I guess it felt a little bit lost, or and I was also very curious. So the program came up at a really great time for me. So it's like, yes, and there's divine timing. Like, working through the program helped me in other areas of life too, in my career, how I communicate and listen and can pull out themes with my patients, and also with private clients that I work with. When I'm not confused, but unsure about, what the next step is, or how to best help clients, all I need to do is tap into my own self for the answers. And it's just having a few right questions to ask yourself, which Kate would always help probe us with, or offer questions to ask yourself. So it became a self-inquiry journey for myself, so that I could best serve other people. I would recommend Empath Energetics to anyone who is curious about learning more about universal energy and how that relates to themselves. I think it could go for the brand newbie who's starting to feel the nudges and see the insight, to someone who is more experienced, because Kate's approach is very different from a lot of others out there. And she's got a good spin on shamanic journeying, which was a modality that I had no idea what it was when I started. And it was quite fun, actually, to do some of the practices that she'd offer. And oftentimes they would be live in the call, like we'd end a call with a journey meditation. And it was, her approach is just very unique in a very good way.